Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Jim again from Paranormal Fellowship. Being that Halloween is Thursday, I thought I'd tell you a nice little story about a Halloween adventure. Now, again, I'm not like all these other people on YouTube, and I'm telling you someone else's story or someone who sent a story in, or, oh, I heard it from so-and-so or whatever. These are all encounters that have happened to me. I'm firsthand, I've been there. And again, I have stories and encounters from everything from ghosts to UFOs to Bigfoot, Shadow Man, because some people say Shadow Man is not a ghost, it's something else. So I'm starting to get older and my memory's getting worse and worse, so I thought I would start doing this to share some of these encounters, some of these experiences that I've had, because at one time I would consider myself a researcher or an investigator. Now I don't, and I'm definitely not an expert in anything. But I do like to say that I'm an experiencer, because no matter, if I don't care who you are, if you're trying to prove the existence of a ghost or Bigfoot or UFOs or aliens or Mothman, no matter what you do, someone is going to say it's faked. And with today's computer technology, unless you actually have a body, there's nothing there can disprove anything that you catch. So I'm an experiencer. I do all this stuff because I want my experiences for me. Now, I don't have COVID or anything, just have some bad allergies. So this happened many, many years ago. Actually, right here at this cemetery. Now, when it happened, we weren't in the cemetery. We were sitting outside. Now, let's start at the very beginning. I was a manager at a Best Buy store, and I had a gentleman who's working for me. Him and I got along pretty good, and he was quitting to join the police force. And again, I'm not using any names because I haven't talked to any of these people, so I don't know if I'm allowed to say their names or anything, so we'll just call this guy number one. Well, we decided that we were going to go to Quaker Steak and Lube, and we were going to have a farewell party, wishing him good luck in his new career as a police officer. So I met him there, and it was, fairly nice day. It was like 60, 70 degrees, so I'm riding my motorcycle. And he was there, and he's brought a friend of his who's already on the police department that he's joining, and that friend brought his fiancée with him. So we're eating some wings, and no one's drinking heavy because we're, it's two cops and his girlfriend and me. So we're just, had one or two beers and we're talking. And so friend number one tells his buddy, says, that, hey, Jim's a ghost hunter. And so the guy and his girlfriend go, well, tell us a scary story. So I tell him about this cemetery that I'm in here right now. This is in Pulaski, Pennsylvania. Don't ask me the name of the cemetery. I've never found out what the name is. There's no signage on it. But I will tell you, there are a lot of old tombstones here. Like, I'm looking right now to my left, and both of these tombstones on my left are from the 1800s. And that big one back there is from July 6th, 1859. So a lot of old tombstones here. Well, so I tell them about the story about us. If you stand on the road outside of the cemetery at night, you can look in, and if you're standing in the right spot, you can actually see there's a tombstone back here that glows. Now, that's all fine, and I know what you're all saying. It could be a candles lit or a street light or something like that. The only thing is, this place is pretty out there, and there's not much around here. You can hear the interstate off in the distance. And this is at night, and there's no, stand-along porch lights or floodlights or street lights or anything around here. But what makes it really interesting is if you're watching it glow, and then you walk forward and you get off the road and you get into the ground of the cemetery, it stops. It just doesn't glow anymore. You can have someone sitting out there on the side of the road still watching it, and you go in to have them try and direct you, and as soon as someone comes into the cemetery, it stops glowing. There's no way to find out whose actual tombstone it is that's glowing. So they didn't believe me when I told them about this. So they're like, all right, show me. All right, I guess we're from Missouri now, the show me state. So I get on the bike, and they get in their car, and they follow me out here from Quaker Steak and Lube to Pulaski. And as we get out here, it was a perfect night. I mean, the sky, it was probably about 11 o'clock at night. The sky was dark, there were stars out, but made it perfectly eerie because there was a little cloud just hanging right over the cemetery when you pull up and you watch it. Clear sky and then just one cloud, and that one cloud's right over the cemetery. So I start telling them, so you walk up and down the side of the road here, and then you look and you can see it. It's usually like a whitish or greenish color is what it glows. So they're like, okay. And we're all walking and no one's seeing anything. And all of a sudden the girl sits there and goes, I see it, I see it. And we're like, oh really, where's it at? She says, come over here, come over here. So we go walking over there, and there it is. And it is bright, bright red. And I'm like, wow. I said, I've never seen it this color before, and it's so bright and so vivid. So we're sitting there watching it for a little bit, and we're talking, we're all excited, and then all of a sudden we hear, I'm like, what the hell was that? And the red light goes out. And the girl is sitting there like, that sounded like a coffin lid closing. And I'm like, whatever. And her fiance got so worked up, he walked across the road into the weeds, and he's taking a leak because it scared the piss right out of him. And so we're sitting there, we're still walking around, we're still standing there, we're looking, and all of a sudden the light comes back again. And it's so bright you can actually see it like reflecting off of the cloud above us. So I'm like, this is, I've never seen this before. This is amazing. And I'm in awe. And all of a sudden we hear again. I'm like, what the hell is that? And they're like, it's coming out of the coffin. It's a coffin lid closing. And I'm like, I really don't think it's a coffin lid, but I will admit I started looking on the ground for some stones or sticks or something. Because these guys are both cops, but they were going to the bar, so they didn't bring any weapons with them. So now all of a sudden, the red light goes out, and there's no noise, and we're all standing there, all four of us are standing there, we're afraid to move, we're all just staring into the cemetery, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And then we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the red light pops back on, and we're all really tuned into it now, and then all of a sudden, it can't see it again, and it's like, what the heck? And all of a sudden we get these bright white lights shining in our eyes, and we're covering our eyes trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And the girl's freaking out, and she's screaming, and her fiance's not doing much better. And I'm looking, and I go, what the? That's an effing Dodge Ram pickup truck. I didn't say effing, I said the full word. And I'm like, what the heck? And that's when Dodge had that unique front end. They were the first ones with those fenders, so you could tell them apart easy. And so now we're like, all like, what is going on? And the Dodge Ram pulls up there by the gate where we're standing, and there's a teenage boy and a teenage girl are back there getting it on. They're having some hanky-panky. I don't know about you all, but I just don't think that if I was going to do it, even when I was a teenager, if I was going to do it out in public, I don't think I'd pick a cemetery to go ahead and get funky and get freaky with. Well, that's all I got for you today. And I'm going to try and do these maybe one or a couple times a week, because like I said, I've got a million of these encounters and stories. And again, they're my own. They're not something that I heard from somebody else or someone wrote in and told me. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a great Halloween. See ya.